There.
79T 2458 Learning Corp Little Red Riding Hood. Take 1.
Yeah! Welcome to Rule 0, motherfucker! I'm working on it. I don't have the aspect ratio down yet, and I did like the fucking things are cut off. But
guys,
yeah. But I was looking at yours, and I forgot about every time it pops up. I never really pay attention, but I actually just watched it. We're like, "You guys ready to rock?" Talking to it like you're pumping up a stage. I'm like, "Damn, that's slick. I got to do that shit."
you're one of the best, and you got the best.
Exactly. And then, of course, you know,
The hottest show in the world.
yeah, Mountain Man on the top here, and then Pajama Boy underneath, and like, yeah, welcome to professional films, motherfucker. What is this? Rule 0, guys. Welcome in the chat already. Don DeMarco, $4.99 super chat. Rolo hit the Don DeMarco.
They do that because they know you hate it.
I know. To be fair, they also make it $4.99 super chat, not $5, because they're trying not to wreck my career. So there's some.
If it was
joy in that.
$1.99, you're like, meh.
Yeah, one more penny, and I have to answer about the cuck article. It's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, which is the topic for this shit too. I thought it'd be great with you guys here because I was realizing this. I actually did the stupid thing, and I started watching all the other, the competition, and I realized
why
Well, again, research. You're supposed to do that shit, and then you know what they do? They scare the shit out of you, dude. You're fucked. These guys are going to fuck you. They're fucking you. Feminism's fuck. I thought it was bad before with El Presidente and his nonsense, but now they're like, the feminists are going to come and they're going to shove a thing in your ass when you get home, and the only way to protect it is my private community, the Alpha Male Masculine War Room of Excellence, $4.99. And I was like, what?
We're going down in flames, Marty. We're going down in flames.
Is there a picture of a gorilla or a lion or an avatar of a Greek warrior with a beard?
No,
oh, yes, Spartans.
Here you go.
For some reason, putting a broom on your head makes you way more alpha. The whole thing.
The horsehair like comb.
Yeah, but I was thinking about it. I'm like, that's fun. I get it. It's cute. We can poke fun at it, but it's like there's some real dudes getting fucked over. And I'm going to start with the liminal order and then it'll be our start off point here to where we run our mouths about some awesome shit. Do you guys remember liminal order? The fucking Jack Murphy's thing.
God, somebody came up with some like troll name for that too. I can't remember what it was. Riminal. The Riminal.
Yeah, Riminal order. But you know what I mean? He was like, feminism's coming for your guns, and nowhere can you be a man anymore, and there's rite of passages, so you got to come here, and then once you're in here, it's good. You're in a safe space. You're with guys. Literally safe spaces. Remember, we used to make fun of that shit. And then he started yelling at Sidney Watson, and everybody's like, oh, look at all this gay porn he's got. But the guys that were in the liminal order, they were like invested in it, and they didn't want to admit that they got duped. Yeah. So they kind of doubled down on it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I thought, fuck, does the red pill have this problem?
Dildos in your ass. Totally masculine.
69 for 69.
I knew it was bad, but I didn't know it was that bad.
Yeah. Let me ask a question. I mean, because I think the audience also has this question, because everyone's kind of, they choose their favorite shows, channels.
Professional wrestler.
Professional. Well, yeah, but
the little mini cults.
And I know, yeah, well, I don't even know if it's cults, but they consume particular content creators, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't. I mean, it's kind of like I got this, hang out with you guys, and I go on and do my own thing. I'd imagine the audience is kind of the same. What was the limitable order? I mean, I know Jack Murphy only because he made news, but and also in terms of the industry, is there that much like genuine grift going on? Is there that much bullshit in the
Rolo, feel free to take this one.
Some of it's just idiots. Some of it's just idiots leading idiots too, though.
I think that's the worst.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's pretty much a given. I'm digging up some dirt. Hang on.
With a smile on his face.
What's funny is I have in my pictures folder, I've got like my site imagery, and then I've got like quotes, I've got memes, I've got feminism, I got my data folder, and then within my quotes folder, I have subfolders for George Bruno, Pat Stedman, Mike Cernovich, Dr. Babe Love, who I haven't like actually hit at in a long time, Illimitable Man, and Jack Murphy.
Hey.
Yeah, he's quite an interesting character. So what's liminal order? The liminal order is like, for whatever reason, whenever guys start, and this is no hit on anybody who has their own private community. I have my own too. If you've got like a Patreon like sub or whatever, like I've got guys that I do a monthly I don't say collab, but it's just like guys getting together because people kept asking me about, hey, I want to do counseling with you. And I'm like, okay, fine. It's going to be $1,000 an hour, right? Whatever. And they're like, oh, I can't afford that. And I go, okay, well, here's a better idea. Why don't you just, join my Patreon group? And then once a month for 2 hours, I get like anywhere between 10 and 15 guys. I have it maxed out at 25, but I've never got up to 25 just to this point. But I think I've got like 14 or 15 right now. And, we do it once a month, usually about the middle of the month, and we just get together and, like, for the most part, guys want community, right? They want to be able to like be able to talk to other dudes about like what they're going through and what they're doing. It's very similar to like So Suave in a sense, because like back in the day, So Suave was the forum that for people who don't know, So Suave was the forum that I used to frequent, and I was a mod on for a very, very long time. I think from like 2002 all the way up to like 2014 or 2016, I was a mod there until like I got too much responsibility. But the thing is like people really liked forums, and like Reddit was a thing, So Suave was a thing, Alt Fast Seduction was a thing, the Roosh V forums, which I think are still around. That was back in the day when forums was something where guys would get together and they would sort of form communities, right? Well, we still do that, I think, right now, only we do it like on Twitter, or like, who are you, like you were saying before, who are you following? Who's your guru? Who's your favorite superhero? Who's your favorite, professional wrestler? And you just sort of get behind those guys and you're on like whatever team that guy's all about. But like Liminal Order, for whatever reason, there's a group of guys who were really, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Ryan, they're more like the guys who are like sort of the TradCon guys, and they would start their own private communities. Rich Cooper's got his own private community. I do. Some other people do as well. They might be more fully or less developed. It just depends on the person. But there was a real push for guys who got into the red pill space, who were very traditional conservatives. They wanted to sort of force fit their old, religious convictions into a red pill box, let's just say. And so you get these things like Liminal Order, or Order of Mountain Men, or, let's sit around the fire and drink, bad whiskey and smoke cigars and drive our Jeeps and drink, Miller Lite kind of thing.
How did you know what I did on Friday night? Jeez,
you should start your own Liminal Order in South Dakota, man. They'd probably be very popular there.
Dude, it will. It totally will.
But so guys, it just depends. It's sort of like the flavor of whatever private community they have, because really, if you can get people into a war room, if you can get people into a Ivan Throne had, what was it, Feast of War, right?
Oh yeah, they literally go out to dinner and have a steak, and that was it. Pinnacle masculinity here, fellas.
Masculinity. I mean, all you have to do is this. Here's how you start your own community, Aaron. You take some sort of like word like apex or arc,
Pinnacle.
Yes, pinnacle, something that's like really high, whatever it is, and then you put of masculinity or mountain men or of manliness or manhood or something. If you combine some like really over the top kind of like adjective or adverb with
a round table of
you too can start your own Liminal Order. And the problem with the Liminal Order thing was is that it was Jack Murphy's sort of private community group, which was based on that kind of mighty mountain men of manhood kind of thing. And the problem with that is of course he was shoving purple saguaros up his bunghole, and that sort of killed off the membership. It declined sharply after that. So.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the point. He's not the only one. He's just the most, like, the only reason I used him is because he's the prime example that everybody kind of knows.
Yeah, he's the most easily identifiable. Sorry.
Yeah. But that's the thing. So a lot of these guys, like Clary, what they're doing is they're selling like a LARP. Do you remember LARPers back in the day?
Sure.
Were like magic missile, and they throw a fucking badminton thing at you. They're doing this, but it's masculinity. It's not real masculine shit. It's like
it's
delusions of masculinity. Like, here, come here and eat a steak because that's what men do. Here's a cigar lounge. Let's smoke cigar because men
so it
get
is
cancer.
a lack of authenticity is what we're really.
Well, I'd say it's very authentic. The problem is it's authentic in the same way that Tom Cruise plays an authentic role in Mission Impossible. He's not actually a super spy. It's not genuine. And I know that's quibbling about.
I've got a good example. It's like
the private community is not a bad idea. It's just how it's done.
Yeah, it's a tool.
So I've been overseas, like a few Asian places. You go to a market or something like that, and they look at you, you're a white guy, but they're not sure quite yet what type of white guy you are. So they're trying to sell to you. So they'll try to pretend they're from wherever you're from. So if they see me and they think I'm French, they'll start to do some like French behaviors, or they'll see me and think I'm an American. But like they've never been to those places. So they don't really know at all how those people act, right? They have an idea, a caricature of how those people act. So they try to behave like that caricature. It's hilarious, and that's what I see with these guys. Is like it's this guy from Thailand in a market trying to sell me something, and he thinks I'm Australian. He's like, "Good day, mate," and he's like just doing all these Australian things completely wrong.
Have you ever called? This is so funny. Have you ever called like user support or like tech support for like some software or whatever, and you get like someone from like Mumbai or Calcutta or wherever,
Oh yeah, Brandon from Mumbai.
Yeah, their names are like their name is Rachel and Ross and Chandler.
Yeah.
Monica. Hello, this is John. This is Joey. What?
But yeah, and that's the part that got me thinking, because I get it. Everybody gets hoodwinked. There was that Forex scam by, I don't know, a certain unnamed Romanian power couple recently. Same thing. Join a private community. You're going to make a ton of money. And then the one guy, I love this one guy. He had a comment where it was like the last 15 trades were all wrong. And he was smart in math, but stupid in trust. And he's like, just by the law of numbers, like you would accidentally get one trade right if you just threw a dart at a board. So this guy was literally worse than random chance. And I thought about this, and I'm just like, but nobody says anything. Because like if you're part of the liminal order, and then you see, the liminal thing going on, and you feel stupid and you feel grifted. But you don't want to say, yeah, this guy's course is bullshit. All it did was sell me cigars and sitting on a oaken chair with a fancy library, doing that. Yacht, yeah. And so then these things keep going on because everybody's embarrassed and they're worried that it's going to make them look bad. So they still they wanted the status LARP, but they just didn't like that theirs wasn't working for them. And so by them keeping quiet, other people join it. And I just thought it was a great red pill thing, because what is red pill? If anything else, swapping notes, solving problems. Fairly practical. If I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong, all you guys. You're smarter than me. And then what you get now is everybody calling themselves Red Pill, doing the exact opposite thing of what they should be doing. They're making you terrified of the feminists are coming for your guns, or the wokes are coming for your gun. The drag queens are coming for your guns.
Yes.
The Rolo's coming for your gun. That's a popular one.
Gay.
Yeah, Rolo's coming for your guns. You got to come into, I don't know what Stedman's war room is now, whatever they call it, the war room of
I know that's so. Let me just clarify a few things here. Is like, I think one of the things that people don't really remember about Jack Murphy, because it happened so long ago, and let me tell you something, my history with Jack Murphy and all that stuff, it's like, I want to believe in God after that. It's like, I want to believe in karmic justice, because I don't believe in karma. I really don't. I think people just like, you're fucked and you're fucked. Right. But like whenever I see like people using the skunk beard on on Will Smith, or I like that the fact that has become like the universal symbol of cuckoldry, and it's Jack Murphy. I'm like, yeah, it's like, once again, God makes a joke and I'm the only one that gets it, I'm just like, wow. But I think what people forget is like when all that shit went down with on You Are Here. And the only reason I was even really familiar with that was because I'm good friends with Elijah Schaefer, and that was his show. That show's no longer, it's kind of defunct now. But when Sydney Watson was on there, I mean, God bless her. I mean, poor girl. She had no idea who Jack Murphy was or what he was.
Yeah, that's right. People used to fuck with her by sending her super chats, and she'd read them all, but she wouldn't check them beforehand.
She did exactly the same thing with me when I was on there the week before that episode, right? Mm-hmm. And like people were throwing things in the chat about elves this and the evil juice and everything else, and then somebody threw in something about like, are you gonna talk to Kevin Ray Wilder while you're in Dallas? Are you going to debate him? This world wants to know, and she read that comment, and I'm like, no. That's why I said nope. I have no plans to ever debate this guy, right? About anything.
Who is he? Is he like a TradCon type guy?
But here's the thing is, so she's reading those things because it's that's just what she does. She doesn't know any different. She doesn't know what they're from. She's completely oblivious to like the manosphere of this niche of the internet. And then prior to that incident where he was like, fuck you, heartfelt, blah blah blah, right? Prior to that, remember this. If you go back and you watch that episode, which I think is still around, if you go and you watch that, prior to that, he was explaining what the liminal order was. And he was saying, yeah, it's a bunch of guys and we get together and we talk about really good stuff about, manhood and taking responsibility. And we usually go and meet up at a Perkins after Sunday, church or whatever like that. And we get together. It's just the men folk. And we start talking about, changing society and like very much like this is sort of like a quasi-religious kind of thing for like conservative Christian guys to get together. And then literally a week later, its video gets leaked of him, cucking himself and shoving various articles up his yin yang. And so, but nobody goes back and goes, dude, is this you? They only see the part where he goes, fuck you, heartfelt. Right. That's where they sort of draw the line. But if you rewind the tape a little bit further back, it's like, this is why it was a big deal, because he knew that after that, he was done. I mean, he's cooked. There's no coming back from something like this.
And that's the thing. Because like everybody I've ever talked to about this, they don't give a shit. They're like, whatever you do in your bedroom is yours. That's like the libertarian thing. Right. Mm-hmm. But it was handled so badly because he's like, it's like the guys in the community wanted to be lied to. And even when they heard it, they kind of wanted it to not be true. Even when they researched, I'm going to look up all these Jack Murphy jerk-off videos. Straight man, married with kids, looking up videos of a dude jerking off and trying to tell his wife, it's research, honey, about my private... Like, really? Really?
I know. I have known over the years, and maybe Fitch knows about this, but I live in Reno, Nevada, as you know, and where I dodge Aaron Clary as much as possible.
You do very well at that.
Let me explain something to you, Aaron. If you decide you want to come out here in August for Burning Man, I'll take you out there.
No. I'd rather go to church. I'd rather go to church.
It is church.
So if you know what Burning Man is, if you don't, just go Google it or go look it up on YouTube. Pretty much, I think. Does everybody know what Burning Man is?
Yes, it's Coachella for podheads. Yeah, it's a great time. Yeah.
Well, it's just debauchery and sex in it's Black Rock Desert, which is actually about like 10 miles away from where I live here in my secret bunker in Nevada. But the thing is, that's interesting about it. It started out as kind of like this art festival, and it started out as this, guys are going to go out and into the wilderness, and there's nothing out there. It's on like the salt flats and the mud plains of Black Rock Desert, which if there's a sage bush out there, you're lucky, right? I mean, literally it's flat and there's nothing out there. And they create for about a week, a society and a city and a community of thousands and thousands of people who go in there with like RVs or the rented trucks or whatever, and they just basically go there, party. It's one big rave, and they have a giant wooden effigy of a man that they burn at the end. That's why they call it Burning Man. You can go look it up. I don't think I need to explain it to you, but I'll tell you what's interesting about it is it got to the point where it only became affordable to people who had the money to be able to go there. Mm-hmm. So it used to be just a bunch of freaks who would go out there and they go, oh, we're going to Burning Man. All right. And it's been going on for like almost, I think over 10 years, probably more than that now. And it used to be a lot cheaper, but now it costs like an arm and a leg to go. And there's all these permits and everything else, and so it turned into a grift, right? It turned into, it used to be this community of people who would go up there and have a good time and do whatever they're going to do. And now it's a grift. And only like you'll see, I'll tell you what's interesting is like when I see guys who I know who are like surgeons or doctors or lawyers or politicians or whatever else, and then you see like on their Instagram, it's them like with, painted up and looking, in drag or whatever.
Assless chaps, yeah,
assless chaps in the Black Rock Desert for a week, and you go, but you're my OBGYN doctor. You're my, you're my general practitioner. You're my lawyer. You're my attorney. You're supposed to save my ass from this guy, kind of thing. And the thing is as Ryan was saying a minute ago, it's not that Jack Murphy shoves, various animal parts up his yin yang. It's the fact that he tries to pitch himself as this good, upstanding Christian guy we're all gonna meet on after Sunday school, and this is, we're really pushing for conservative values and blah blah blah. And then you turn around and you find out that that's not. Here he is at Burning Man, only he lives his life at Burning Man instead. And it's how you go from one sort of character to another character. Now, if your attorney or whatever likes to go out to Burning Man, hey man, that's on them. They're not trying to say, hey, I'm creating this society of upstanding gentlemen and everything else, when in reality, I am cucking my girlfriend out or cucking myself out or going after young boys or whatever it is that he was doing, right? It's the pitch, right?
Yeah.
Because that's why I brought this up. Prior to all that shit going down with Sidney Watson, he was trying to sell himself as oh yeah, we meet after Sunday church and then we go and talk about things at Denny's or Perkins or wherever the hell it is. And it's like, that's the problem. If you were into going to Burning Man and that was your thing and if that's how you're selling yourself, fine, I got no problem with it. Go do whatever you're gonna do. Not my cup of tea. I'm not dealing with that. But if that's you, at least you're consistent.
Well, that's the thing, because
I'm preaching, anti-degeneracy. Basically, they're saying all these things, and these things are degeneracy, and they're tearing down society and culture. And I have the answers to stop it, but secretly, I'm being a degenerate.
Yeah, and it's a lack of honesty. And I want to say like the brands are doing it, and the people are good, but the people are just as shitty. Like how many? Fun fact. We had Twitter. There was this guy commented on one of my tweets. He calls himself like "Learn the Rules of Attraction." You know the accounts, the guys who have like a statue of a muscular man in there, and he's like giving out platitudes about this, that, and the other thing. Mm-hmm. So he did the stupid thing. He came into my Twitter and he started talking shit about fucking degeneracy, and like my community just roasted him for like hours. I eventually sent the guy a private message. I'm like, dude, just stop. They're gonna make you cry. He started bringing up how he hated his dad and shit like that. Mm-hmm. And I think this is like a common male problem where they don't want to face the reality of their lives. Mm-hmm. But maybe, it's not as good as you want it to be. Maybe you got with the wrong girl. Maybe you have a kid now that you kind of resent, but you can't say anything about it. Maybe you're a lawyer, but you just want to wear assless chaps and hang in the desert and blow a dude. Like, I don't care. But it's guys that refuse to live honestly, not even authentically, honestly.
Is that what you're going to do now, Aaron? Yeah. That you're injured and you got nothing, you got but time on your hands?
No, I'm not going to blow a guy in the desert.
But if you did, you would own it, is my point. That's why, and you're like, why are they? You're in front of the camera because you can live a genuine, honest life. You were laughing about things. If you're doing something, it's because you want to. And if somebody makes fun of you for it, you don't care. It's literally men going their own way, except for like you're actually doing it and not just talking shit about it. Same thing as you, Rollo. Man going his own way. What am I going to do? I'm going to start a rock band again because that's been pretty fun.
Yeah.
What else am I going to do? I'm going to talk about hypergamy for 20 years. Fuck it. Why not?
Here's the thing. And Ryan, this is actually kind of an interesting observation. It's like for some people, they're bulletproof. They can do no wrong. Right. So like Jordan Peterson can do no wrong. Yeah. So if the fact that he had to go to some Russian rehab and be put into an induced coma so that he can get off of benzos or whatever, but he can still come back and go on with Chris Williamson and talk to Patrick Bet-David or whoever else, he's still respected, even though you go, well, look at his daughter, look at his life, look at his, drug addiction, look at this. People go, it's okay. He's lived a rough life. His wife had cancer. His daughter is who she is.
They need to believe the lie, right?
Why do you have such a problem with them and everything? It's like, if I did something like that, I'd be done. I'd be completely done. If he said Rollo Tomasi put into an induced coma because he's, high on, whatever, Benny's or whatever the hell, like they'd be done with me.
They would run you up the flagpole.
They would run me up the flagpole.
But here's the difference, though. It's because, like, you and the communities that are surrounding all of us and the Real Zero guys in general, you're not about bullshit. So when guys come in, they kind of know what they're getting for and I don't want to shit on Peterson because I kind of like the guy, Canadian, typical. But when they go there, they had a lie they wanted to believe that it was the only thing you're missing in your life is responsibility. And they're taking that from you and they want you to use pronouns and everybody bought that lie. And so everything he does now, people either have to admit I'm lying to myself or they double down on it and continue to worship him. And obviously you see which path guys take. And I'm going to fluff. You guys mind if I fluff how awesome you are? You okay with that? John?
Just keep your distance.
Keep your distance. Oh, don't worry. I'm not going to blow you. But that's the thing, John. You've been 100% honest, 100% sincere. Not, authentic, but like genuine, right? Same thing as Clary. My life is my life, and if you don't like it, fuck you. Rollo, same thing. This is my life, and fuck you. And these guys are running me up the flagpole. And it's something that's refreshingly absent from not just social media, but media. When you look at somebody, like The Rock probably fucking bangs dudes on the side and he has a wife and a kid and stuff, but we'll never know, so we can believe the lie. But like, what you see is what you get here. There's very little of that around anymore. And it's not just the people, it's the audiences too. And that's kind of scary to me. And I'm curious what you guys think. Is that the true degeneracy? That everybody's living in this like fictional world where their only enemies are feminism? And the only thing that's missing out of their life is the liminal order.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I know it's going to be an obscure reference. I think this plays a part, so let me explain. You guys ever see the show? It was a Cowboy Bebop kind of remake, but it was in person. Captain Malcolm, Firefly. You guys remember Firefly?
Yeah.
So there's a character called Jane, guy, not a female, Jane, and he's this self-serving, debauched, honest about it, borderline criminal guy. So they go to this planet and there's a statue of him and the townsfolk on this planet are worshiping Jane. And everyone's like, what the hell is going on? Like, he's returned. This guy's a scumbag. And so they're trying to figure out why are they worshiping him? Well, turns out Jane did a robbery because he's a criminal. Stole something from the bank, and it's spaceship stuff. So they're trying to escape the federales, but they had too much of the gold or the silver, whatever they were stealing, that they had to salvo it and jettison it so that they could get the escape velocity. Well, he threw all this money down on the townsfolk, so he became this god. And whereas he knew he was a scumbag and all these bad things he did, somehow at the end of the show, a young man takes a bullet. Someone's trying to kill Jane, and a young man takes a bullet, and Jane's like, why did they die for me? Like they found out I was a scumbag, and people kept singing his praises. And it goes back to the point of religion. People need a religion. They need someone to believe in. The vast majority of people, I would say. So whether that is a flaw, and everyone's flawed, just so you know, everyone's got skeletons in their closet. Ain't no one about 1,000, but it could be Jack Murphy, Jordan Peterson.
Yep.
I'm trying to think anyone else who may have fallen from grace, or their background catches up with them. The people still need that religion to believe in. And so I think that's part of the product these people are trying to sell. I think Peterson is 100% authentic, and I'll have a point about authenticity later. Jack Murphy, that's contradictory and hypocritical, kind of lying to it. And that would be more like, oh, here's the grift that I can make. And oh yeah, traditional conservatism trademark, probably leasing it from the 700 Club. But no matter what happens, there's still going to be a segment of people who are become religiously or spiritually invested in it because it's part of their identity. And so now they have it. And so, do as I say, not as I do kind of thing. I think especially would correlate with Christianity. People may be willing to overlook that with forgiveness and everything like that. So I think that's part of this. But once you guys, I want to introduce another angle that I think is really more descriptive on a secular level when it comes to it.
Mm-hmm. Sure. I want to. Gosh, do I really want to do this? Maybe I do.
Do it. Let's have some fun. It's a Globetrotters game.
Yeah,
This
why
episode's
not?
a Globetrotters game.
How many people are in the Let's see. How many people do you have watching you? Okay, I'll do it. Let me throw a couple of these things up here. I thought this was pretty funny. You got to remember. So when we're talking about like being disingenuous versus being ingenuous, whatever, being, I think authenticity versus being like disingenuous is the like I got no reason to be disingenuous. I can remember a time like Ryan. I can remember a time when I was like, I don't want anybody to find out that I'm into Warhammer 40,000, right?
Yeah. Which is crazy because you had that poster on your wall for like a year, and nobody recognized it
under my hat, right? I don't want anybody to find out that I play guitar and I'm a metal guy because people think of me as like being like sort of professorial, and I'm like, no, they don't. No, I care. Nobody cares. Right? And so like now when I do like Masculine Geeks, like when even Aaron and I were playing Dungeons and Dragons together for a period of time there.
Proudly.
Yes,
no shame.
Exactly. And there was a time where I've been like, oh, is that going to sort of like damage my reputation? No, if anything, it increased. People love the fact that they were doing that. And even Ryan, like you're doing your gaming streams and stuff like that now too. There was a time where I would have been like, ooh, do I really want to do a Twitch stream or play games, or do they?
Yeah, I think we all
very seriously, And it's like, no, they don't. And they want to know that you're human, and they want to know that. Especially, I'll tell you, one of the best things I ever did was say, hey, I paint miniatures, right? That's one of my hobbies, kind of thing, or I play in a band, kind of thing, and it's just something that I like to do. That humanizes you. It's like, oh, because somebody else might, know, for the emperor, or some shit like that.
Well,
right?
it's more than that too, though, right, Rollo? Because it's like, obviously well respected in the community. Even the people that want to make clout that hate you, they respect that, like, aim for the top. I get all that.
Right. Well, and then
you've built value in your life. You've done the work. And so you're like, I'm going to play Warhammer and paint figs. Fuck it.
That's exactly why I say, what did you do before?
Yeah.
Because we do this because we chose to, not because, oh shit, I got to make a mortgage payment and hey, this is hot. Now I'm going to repackage it.
Yeah.
So everyone had a career before they got here.
Yeah, but some people's careers was cucking themselves and doing cuck porn and shoving purple saguaros up their orifices, right?
Not owning it.
Yes.
I guarantee you could make a brand being, hey, that's the ass play guy, and he would be great. Like the Seinfeld episode, ass man on the license plate.
Yes.
They got to be embarrassed by it. Embarrassed to be a man. For fuck's sake, Sterling
Cooper is a male porn star. I don't know if he's still working these days, but he certainly was a male porn star. I think he still might do something. But still, like people respect him. Oh, he's a porn star. Only elite guys can do that. Well, if he was trying to say, yeah, I'm I've got my own liminal order, and we're gonna meet after church and blah. But Sterling is not doing that. Like he owns his shit, right? And so he's not trying to sell himself as something that he would, like his former porn star days, would follow him and track with him, and then he would get outed for being a porn star. He doesn't care about that. He began from a position of authenticity and honesty, and that's why I was saying is like, when it's kind of quaint for me to think that like anybody would in any way disqualify anything I've done over the last 20 years because I play Warhammer 40,000,
Yeah, but you use space orcs or whatever or space marines.
No, Eldar, space elves, these elves. No.
But can I introduce another angle that I think, not to say that the hypocrisy of be a good Christian, I did gay porn kind of stuff isn't part of it, but I think this is more descriptive of it. What we have going on in the quote red pill industry is introducing reality and truth, where society propagandizes and outright lies at times too.
Oh,
and
yeah,
it is not a static environment. And what I mean by that is, as society and women in particular, but there's other areas like career and all that, as that it's an arms race. It's constantly evolving and constantly changing. And the frontier or the front battle lines, the front lines of this battle is constantly changing and evolving. And if you are going to add value, and this is where I kind of draw the line between where you a grifter, or are you contributing something new? And that's what it is. Are you contributing something new? For example, Fitch teaches fighting. I don't know anyone who teaches fighting. That is new. Rollo, your books constantly evolve and go down a philosophical rabbit hole where no one else has sent people into the minds before. My latest book, which I'm going to write later, is going to be an updating or an addendum to Bachelor economics to account for things like inflation and other stuff. I don't want to give the cat away or anything like that. But when I do something or we come up with a product or a class or a course or whatever else, it is coming from those evolved, changing front lines so that when we give data and information to consumers and people who read our stuff, it's of benefit to them and it's in the here and now. In other words, there's utility and a value they gain from it. What I'm getting, because I haven't consumed all this material and because I don't care, I want to go do other stuff. Could we say that one of the main complaints is that these people are just rehashing old shit? Like, Rollo, how many times do people quote your book? And I don't mean in a sense of philosophical discussion, but borderline plagiarism to not maybe present it as their own, but like, hey, guys.
Insert Marty Haslin and 33 Secrets here.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Like,
Marty Hazelton did their own thing, but yeah.
Right. But for example, someone who's got like, I got steak and oak chairs, the feast of war, and running around in loincloths, and a gorilla, and go to the gym.
Gorilla.
And dude, bro, do you guys know how to nag? Let me explain nagging to you. Like, okay, but you're repackaging this and selling this as new shit? This is stuff that, and admittedly, if you have the time, you could find this for free, or the book has already been written. Maybe you got to drop $15-20. But when I come out with a course on achieving financial excellence or minimalism, I'm not joking when I say it. That is frontline, avant-garde, new shit that has not been introduced into the world of thought or the marketplace of ideas yet. It is new. Now, over time, that will age out. I'll have to lower the price or it'll become obsolete by that point in time. But could we say that maybe that is our main complaint with, say, the liminal order, Bloodsport, Red, whatever else have you?
That is missing novelty?
It's missing novelty or new or value. And then what you're really selling is, instead of the product being new and practical advice that is for the here and now or where the front lines are, you're almost selling a club or a cult, or at best. At best, you're selling belonging or fellowship, I guess would be the religious.
It's all brand. It's all brand is what it is at that point.
Vaporware.
Is that our complaint? Is that our main reservation?
I'll tell you what this has been my take for a long time on exactly. I've talked about this in the past, Aaron. I think that the red pill, whatever whatever it becomes, whatever we call it in the future, I think that the red pill is and always should be open source. I don't claim any ownership to what are just basically, to me anyways, like objective fundamental truths. I do have an issue when people take my work and then claim it as their own. Like that's plagiarism to me. And the thing, I think one of the reasons why I get like sort of bent out of shape about that is, I mean, first of all, I bust my ass for, to provide an original, innovative way of thinking about things. But what gets me is like, it's just lazy. Because there's this resource, there's this like pool of red pill, resources for you to go and come up with something new, come up with some novelty, come up with
standing on the shoulders of giants.
It's there. It's like the fact that the plagiarism isn't what bugs me. It's the lethargy that you have to not actually go and say, you know what, I'm going to put a new spin on this. I'm going to see how I can take this a little bit forward, right? And so when somebody in some cases, directly like reads from my book or uses my vernacular that I've been using really since 2002, then I'm going to take issue with that. But the source that that vernacular came from, or those ideas, or the dots that I'm connecting. That's the dots I connect. That's me. But the dots that were there to begin with, why the fuck don't you just take those and make something new out of that? Connect some dots of your own. It's not that. It's a curb this fucking high.
I don't even think you have to. You don't even have to remake something new. Just reinforce it like a replication.
Well, and let me give you a great example, and I think this, or at least for me, this is up. So I read Ryan's book, The Fook Files. And I don't care what anyone.
I always
says.
love that South Dakota accent.
Fook Files. I don't care what anyone says. Ryan is probably the smartest one in the because
I agree.
You have to read him like 20 times.
Smartest guy in my book, guaranteed.
Damn it, Ryan! Why did? But reading Ryan's book got me to what I call the perfect mental state. Not for me, but the concept of perfect mental state. And I finally understood women. But it would not have been until I read Ryan's book. And now this concept has been moved on, and it has benefited my audience of the perfect mental state. But I didn't I came up with this, and it's like, no, Ryan led me to this point. And I think that is probably what our main complaint would be with the whatever, Johnny come lately, self-declared Twitter bot followers, take my Gumroad course type of thing. Hypocrites, because all they're doing is like, oh, here's my recipe for circular pizza, and they take the exact same recipe, like, look, square pizza for $99.95. You can get my square pizza. It's like, you fucking dicks. So I think that maybe is our main complaint.
Well, I think what's funny, I'm gonna I see if I can put a little bit of spin on this, because I know how much Ryan locks horns with the Tates all the time. But as you know, Andrew Tate is the real G. Okay, he's the real G. I don't know what a G is, but
that's why he's got to shit on the Minecrafter. That's my arch. And the fat. Do you see what he's shitting on H3? Big fat fuck, and he's like, this guy gets me so riled up. I'm like, really?
Dude, that is as entertaining as any professional wrestling show you could ever see. It's funny as hell. The entertainment value of that alone is worth watching it. However, and this is Andrew Tate has built himself over and over again as I've never seen a Star Wars movie. That's for dorks and dweebs, and I can't believe you want to watch something.
Is there a video out there of him watching the prequels?
No,
that would be the Jack Murphy moment.
If there was, would that be? That's what I'm asking. Would that be a Jack Murphy moment? If there was some video, if somebody caught him being this total fanboy for
lightsaber battles,
he's getting plowed in the ass by a lightsaber.
Would that ruin him? I don't think so.
Just like a giant Yoda.
Because I think at some point there's some threshold, right, where your cult will follow you into the gates of hell. They don't care. My team, win or lose, live or die. Whether it's politics, it's religion, it's your sports team. It's like, oh, the 49ers are last place in the league, right? He's like, I don't care. We're gonna win someday. If you're a Cubs fan or a White Sox fan, forget it. But you're 100% ride or die, no matter what, with that for that particular team. At what point does the guru go from being a Jack Murphy, right? Who people fought up until the point where he went on You Are Here and he had his sort of flame out right there. There he had people who were like, oh yeah, Jack Murphy's my man, ride or die, liminal order. Yo, this is Sparta.
You're gonna see some level of people who doesn't matter what they do. Isn't that
what's the threshold is what I want to know. What's the threshold of hypocrisy that you lose actual diehard fanboys?
Dude, that's a good
There's
question.
some that will never lose it. Isn't it Joel Olstein or something?
Joel Osteen.
Didn't he do some horrible stuff? And he still
was he the dude that got blown in the airport?
10,000 people showing up to a mass. So
really,
it's the same type of thing. It's
what? I think it's about the gullibility and the desperation of the audience. I really do.
Believe in some omniscient whatever leader,
omniscient,
this perfect being that we need to follow because they have the answers. They know what's going on. They'll make it safe for me. They'll take care of me.
I think it's a desperation thing. I think the more desperately you need to believe it, the more shit you're gonna hide. Because we see that in marriages. Rollo, how many guys have been
Could it be biological a little bit?
I think it's psychological at least. Because think of how many guys.
There's certain animals and species of that just have certain. You have bees. You have certain things are born to be certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a possibility that
most likely
humans are born just to be followers?
Well, how many guys have you guys met in your life that have said yeah, my wife is a 10, or my girlfriend is a 10, or this chick I'm interested in is a 10, and then they show you the girl, and you're like, the fuck? That's like a hard 4.
I'll never do
Like
that
that
to you
same
guys.
delusion, but they need to believe she's a 10 because she's into them. I've literally had a guy tell me he had a soccer mom, a 24-year-old ex-drug addict, tattooed up with like 2 kids in tow, and he's like, yeah, I know everybody says 9s and 10s, but this time it's different. I think psychologically we have to believe, and it's not even that like how much hypocrisy is too much. I think it really depends how desperate is your audience to the point where they will convince themselves of anything. And I think the same guys that put up with a 20-year dead bedroom cheating on them wife are the same guys that'll put up with no matter how many pieces of things Jack shoves up his ass. I'm limitable order to the end of the line.
It gets to what you always say, Ryan. You got to hate your audience a little bit. Because there are, and that's where I don't know how many people you've met in your fan base, but for the longest time, there was a rule. Half the time when I met someone, they're one of the coolest, truly a true man, struck out on his own path, did his own thing, whether that was an executive or a musician or something. They were really interesting people. The other half, just an NPC that was using the words coming out of your mouth to give their life value, meaning, and purpose, but never going to execute on it, never actually going to go and do it. And I think you get those followers and those sheep, and that's where, you get that like kind of godlike value, purpose, agency, and reason in living in life that person can do no wrong.
I do not want to believe that.
I still think back to when I first met Rolo, that same shit. It's the only thing I thought is don't be a fat
Please
fuck.
Don't be fat, please. That was awesome.
Wait, you got to meet Rolo?
Yeah, he answered.
wow.
He returned my call once. It was pretty slick.
It wasn't Reno, don't worry.
It's fine though. He introduced me to Anthony Johnson, so
Wasn't that awesome?
to be honest, I would rather be in your position.
You are failing us.
Okay, I'm gonna take a quick break here. We're gonna do some super chats because you guys have been building it up, and I don't want you to think we're ignoring you because
I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'll be back.
yeah,
All
we only
right.
hate the audience a little bit, not a
That
lot.
prostate acting up, and then
Yeah. something Perkins. Okay. First off, Black Burr. Oh fuck. $5 super chat. No, I am not going to talk about the cuck article. Comment Cappy, you're saying you don't want to pay $99 a month for the Liminal order.
nope.
Nothing.
Let's pay $99 a month.
Yeah, nothing needs to be added to that one. Nonstop Dre 360. Oh, dude, that's an Xbox gamer tag name. $2 super chat. Cappy's Closet equals Wounded Dogs from PETA and Carlson Grad. Dude, that's an inside joke. I'm a little lost. Does anybody know the... That's crazy. Our future MD1 Fuck! I'm not talking about the cuck article.
I know.
I build Gundams and play piano to help with boosting dexterity. Are there weirdos? Not really that weird, just unsocialized and lonely. I'd say so. Like fuck. Well, look at John. You see the beard and the mountain man shit and the long hair, right? 2 guys or 3 guys take that look. Guys like John who have his shit together and are attractive, Unabombers, and fucking incel closet dudes. The look doesn't matter. The guy behind it's what matters. So yeah, build your Gundams, dude. Although I heard you need an engineering degree to put that
piano.
shit
I
together.
Is your prostate okay now?
You're a man who builds things and you play an instrument. Pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh my God, leisure time. What a cuck. Glenn Lawrence, $4.90. Thank you, sir. $4.99. I didn't want to talk about the cuck article.
Baseball fans.
Yeah, the Tates are Spaceball fans. To be fair, you're actually
love
making me like
Spaceball
them
so
a lot
much.
more now because Spaceballs was fucking lit.
Magic missile.
So
Gundam.
I believe my kids watch Spaceballs. Oh, it's so great.
It is.
To this day, Mel Brooks.
right.
What a treasure.
Oh, okay. So the next part. So here we're gonna switch some gears. So we've milked that. I was thinking, you know how anti-feminism and Save the West is big right now, right? I find it's a weird little like distraction. Don't look what's happening here. Everybody's so focused on vilifying the out-group that everybody refuses to see the bullshit in the in-group. Now, being how you're all red-pilled, I'm sure you've seen the examples of red-pill fucking morons talking mad shit on here about fucking nothing that they know about.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about the idea that all this focus on the out-group to build in-group loyalty stunts guys to be able to see in-group problems that can be fixed? Does that make sense? I just realized I got kind of rambling.
What's happened politically? What's happening politically? It's exactly what's happening politically.
Oh yeah, Republicans shit on Democrats, Democrats shit on Republicans. Meanwhile, both houses are fully looking shit.
I see what you're saying.
The people on the left aren't looking at the people on the far left and like, oh hey, maybe we should do something about this. The people on the right aren't dealing with fake conservatives, because there's no such thing as a freaking conservative. The conservatives today are the same place that the liberals or the lefties were in the 80s.
It's 20th century.
They're just driving slower. It's
old order 20th century thinking.
Right.
And there's nobody looking internally who's actually like, well, wait a minute, guys, what the F are we actually conserving? Have we conserved anything? What are the things we want to conserve? No, it's all look at the people on that side and they're bad. And there's no internal reflection at all.
You know why that is, Fitch? Is because if there is no boogeyman, no one gets paid.
Yeah.
That's
motherfuck.
That's true, because like when you look at and this is true of just tribalism in general, like what was it you were asking before, is this like some sort of human need? And honestly, I talked about this in my 4th book in religion. There is a need for magical thinking, or there is a need for imagination. And I started it out with that quote. Is it Albert Einstein that said this? What's more important, like imagination or knowledge? He's like, oh, imagination. No, both of them are, because one is incomplete without the other. You have to be able to be imaginative to acquire knowledge in the first place, and then from that knowledge you can apply imagination to it. They're actually, it's yin and yang, man. It's like one is incomplete without the other. And so when I was outlining that section in religion, I mentioned this. I said we need magical thinking. Human beings have one of the, I think it's a feature, not a bug. Okay, now it can be a bug. You can take that to the extreme where you have cult leaders and people will commit like human atrocities because they have that magical thinking, or they will, to the detriment of themselves, to the detriment of their children, their families, they will come up with these fanciful memes that are in no way align or congruent with reality, and in some cases it might get them killed as a result of that. But that's the downside of it. The upside of it is that because we have imagination, because we have magical thinking, because we want to believe in what is possible, it prevents us from being nihilistic. It prevents us from prevents us from going black pill and being MGTOW, the extreme end of MGTOW. I'm just gonna it's not worth it, it's all over, and you stare into the abyss and you jump into the abyss. Well, if you didn't have the capacity to say, you know what, maybe in the future, or maybe if I try this, maybe if I do this thing here, that things will get better. Like maybe there's something that I could do just around the corner, right? And it's that hope, or that imagination, or that magical thinking, whatever that some people have said. That I don't know exactly what it is, but because I'm not a neurological scientist, I only play one on the internet, right? But there is supposed to be some sort of module or some sort of element or some area of your brain that you have a proclivity for magical thinking. You think, oh, is there something outside? Is it ghosts? Is it the UFO? Is it the tarot card? Is it chick crack? That kind of stuff. Whatever it is that's prompting you to those things. Now, there's unhealthy expressions of that, but there's also healthy expressions of that, so that we get art and we get fantasy and we get Lord of the Rings and we get, Marvel superheroes, because we have that element of our brains. But it's the same element that predisposes us to go give Junior's college fund to Joel Osteen after getting pumped up at a pep rally that's supposed to be a church thing. It's the same thing. It's just applied either for discontent, destructively or constructively. And so if we didn't have that, we wouldn't have hope, and we wouldn't be able to say, yeah, things can get better. We couldn't have optimism. We wouldn't have pessimism either if we didn't have that element to sort of our human nature. And so, yes, in some ways it can be bad, and in some ways it can be actually very, very good. But we need that to like progress as a species. Otherwise, we end up black pill, and we end up like wheat waffles and MGTOW dictionary.
Let me. I'll answer your question there, Ryan, and it's laziness. If you provide the dichotomy conservative versus liberals as the example, I'll give you 2 examples where they're defining themselves as not being those guys. Kind of like how feminists, all they do is talk about men. Tribal. Like, why don't you go do something with, go write a book, go fishing, stop defining yourself by, I'm not those guys. Conservatives, They bitch and whine about the public schools, but will single one of them have one of the parents quit their job to stay home to homeschool? No,
Nope.
they will not. They absolutely won't. And the other thing, where do you think these conservative, Republican, squeaky white suburbanite people send their children? They send their kids off to schools, colleges, and do they tell the kids
Liberal
don't
arts
major?
colleges.
Yep, they all go to Middlebury or some
Middlebury.
bullshit, worthless joke of a school, and it's this. Well, nothing's still
Women's
good for
studies.
daddy's little. Yeah, and they major in journalism or all this other stuff, and it comes back to: are they willing to put? There's some guy, some bald Canadian who walks around without a shirt and has a beard, and he said something. Are they going to do the work? And it boils down to that. They will go and say, look at how bad those people are over there. Oh my God, I can't believe there's a transsexual story time in the schools. It's like, okay, well, will you sacrifice your job and give up the Range Rover payment so that you could educate little Jimmy?
Slow
back
down.
home? Hell no, they won't do it. And so that's,
You
again,
move to a smaller city, a smaller town.
Right. Or go back to college and get your I don't know, a certificate that'll get you a better job. No
It's
one
just
is
like,
willing to
it's
do
it's
the
an
work.
argument that I've had with my ex. Okay. She's like, I'm like, why can't we move out of the state? Why can't we get the hell out of here? Money goes a lot farther other places. And she's like, oh, well, I can't find work outside of California. I can't blah, 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 all these excuses. I'm like, if we sold our houses individually, our houses, we would have enough money to buy property in like
South
Indiana
Dakota.
and we wouldn't have to work again.
Mhm.
Because, you know, if we just lived within our means,
Mhm.
like we could each buy our own house, stay there,
Oh.
raise the kids, we'll homeschool kids. Like we would have enough money just to coast into our late years. And
I'll give you another one. I'll
like you
give
don't
you
need a
another one.
freaking job. Like you're telling me that like your stupid corporate bullshit job that doesn't give a shit about you is more important than spending time with your children. You'd rather spend time in traffic. You'd rather pay these taxes and get fucked in the ass by everything that's going on here, just so you can have this stupid job that isn't even a career. It's dumb. It's infuriating, but like you can't get through to these people.
I'll give you another one, Ryan. And Fitz,
Mm-hmm.
you'll appreciate this because you work out all the time and you're a fighter. All the good conservative America traditionalism. Why there's so many fat chicks? Why there's so many fat guys
Mhm.
in the Republican
Why so many
conservative
dead
libertarian? Right, because they don't want to.
They're conserving the body weight.
They're conserving. They're
That's the one thing they're
conserving.
conserving. Yeah. But no,
Serving
it's
obesity.
people don't want to do the work. They'd rather define themselves as, thank God I'm not those people, but never actually improve their own lives. And that's universal. That goes across all different groups and categories of people.
Yeah.
Politics, race,
Drew's
religion.
right. Put that up there. Drew's right. They're lazy and undisciplined. They
Oh yeah, where's this thing?
lethargy is what it is. Seriously.
There you
Well,
go.
I mean, think about what is it easier to do? Create something for yourself, come up with, like we were just talking about, like, you know, I was just saying, you know, you have access to the same dots. Go and connect those dots for yourself and tell me why I'm wrong, or tell me something new you came up with. That requires some kind of creative thinking. It requires you to actually go out there and do something. And if you can't do those freaking things, then you'll end up like this fat fuck here sitting in the
Who's lazy, undisciplined.
yes, lazy and undisciplined.
There she is.
And gay.
I'd be saying
Johnny
the same-
Cakes, what's going on, brother?
I'd be saying the same if I was sitting in my house with, you know, not getting any pussy and living that middle class life, you know.
Lower middle income class life, John. Get it right. Lower middle income.
If I was like you guys, I would understand, you know. But, yeah, so I'm in bed with a guy, you know.
It doesn't matter. Your cult will still love you anyways.
$20 is $20, right, Aaron?
Hey, $20. That's more like
Pokeballs,
$15 with
Penis till
inflation.
they already started.
Anyways, what are we crying about this week?
Oh no, we're laughing at guys who want to believe obvious bullshit to feel better about themselves when there's such an easy path to get shit done.
Right. Like when you look at yourself in the mirror, basically, is what we're talking about. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, that delusion does pay off. That delusion does pay off. But I mean, yeah, you know, me and I think me, John Fitch, and Paul and Troy are the only ones from Rules that are actually getting pussy, like new pussy as it is, you know. But you know, but really, what I thought we were supposed to be on Cappy's channel. Cappy was like leading the way of saying, like, you know, chicks for hating babies or whatever. What are we talking about this week?
It's in the chat. You should be able to see it there. You're busy getting pussy. I get it, but you got time to read.
You at a hotel or something, John? It looks.
I thought it was Troy. I thought this was Troy's week, and Troy.
Yeah, it was Troy this week. He couldn't make it, so we slapped this together to give these guys some content because
we did the work. We jumped
Troy's
on
in
it.
Poland. I'm in a love hotel. She's Chinese. She doesn't count. But yeah. What's the topic? I don't know. I just popped in.
Oh yeah, we were talking about private communities, guys who want to believe in fiction, lie to themselves. Basically, guys lying to themselves and Jack Murphy.
Oh, so Manosphere Twitter.
Basically,
people who join cults and why, basically, and that's what all this is, and a lot of this marketing is. Like all the marketing books and shit I've read, it's all like teaching you how to build a cult. Like,
John,
the advertisers know that there's a lack of spiritual, of people believing in like actual religion and God. So like,
Johnny, you love Star Wars, right?
Totally.
You're a total Star Wars nerd, right? Were you ever worried that anybody who found out whether or not you like have a lightsaber collection would like leave you, or you wouldn't have a following if people found out that you were actually a closet Star Wars nerd?
You missed my 1.5 hour hate speech diatribe against Kathleen Kennedy.
Oh no, I was part of that actually. You and I have talked about this extensively. That's why I'm giving you shit. But like, the reason why I brought that up is because we were earlier on, we were talking about Andrew Tate and how he's famously said, I've never watched any of those Star Wars movies. I would not want to be a dork or a dweeb like you guys. Star Wars is for losers and everything. How off-put would you be if you found out that Andrew Tate had a lightsaber collection and there's like video of him watching like Phantom Menace and loving every minute of it?
I would love it. Listen, me and Tate DM on Instagram. We are cool as hell. I'm about to join the war room. Like, no, listen, bro. When it comes to Tate, like, you can love him, you can hate him, but you cannot take away the fact of the matter that guy has dominated the manosphere. He has dominated TikTok, and he's a genius, bro. He's operating on another level. And in regards to the cult of personality, look, dude, they're chiefs and they're Indians. Okay, like John, I think John experiences the most of it in regards to fame, in regards to all of us. John has seen like die-hard fans of him through his UFC career. And then, people like us. I mean, Ryan has fans. You have fans. I mean, this fucking loser in South Dakota, Aaron Clary, has fans. I mean, really, when it boils down to it, anybody can get fans. It's just, what are you talking about and who follows you? It's just going to happen. Like, AOC has fans. Dude, unfortunately, Joe fucking Biden has fans. I think everybody's trying to be so purist and trying to, live this pure, like they think this like pure existence exists. We're like, oh, only my way exists. And it doesn't work like that. Like for me, I'm the tribe of money, muscles, game, frame, right? I just say, that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. Ryan is very like philosophical. He's talking about, he has a relationship. He does his main channel. He does his side channel. You talk about your book and like you're on the massive crusade to saving men from killing themselves. Aaron Clary is like a very pragmatic, economical guy, and I out of all of your content, the number one person I watch the most is Aaron. So everybody has their tribe and everybody has their gig. So I think the guys in the manosphere really need to kind of take what's the kind of view I'm looking at, like that non-positional view. I'm a little drunk right now, but they have to be like agnostic to an extent. You know what I mean? And just accept the world for what it is. Whatever outcome you want to have, make it happen, and like focus on yourself. Stop worrying about everybody. Ho's gonna ho, feminist's gonna feminist. Liberal's gonna liberal. Like, I mean, I love the series Ryan Stone is putting out right now on Twitter. He's like, hey, thanks for not mentioning hypergamy or whatever to my dad. Like, making fun of these guys. Stop trying to control anything. Just focus on what you want, make the life you want to have, and just focus on that. Everything else, it's all just fucking details until you die eternally forever. And that's the real red pill for all you fucking keyboard warriors out there.
Dude, those fucking teeth are gleaming white. What the fuck have you been doing with them?
I
No
went to
shit.
Colombia. I went to Colombia and I got them. She loves them.
Okay, dude, I still got a channel here not to get nuked. Fucking
It's okay,
Christ.
we're not gonna get
Is that your dog?
Yeah. Dog sitting in your lap. It's adorable. A Pomeranian. I like it.
You know the black pill guys are like, that's a dude for sure, you know.
They aren't on this channel. I fucking boot them instant. I don't need the views.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. But no, I'm out here living life. My thing is, look,
What the? That wasn't me. I think we lost him.
We lost
All right, when he gets back, we'll get him in here.
Oh well. Hey,
I think he hit a button.
let me tag something onto the last thought that you guys were talking about, as far as like there's sort of like team sports and tribalism and everything else. Like I think was it John? Actually, John.
I
And
fucked up. My bad.
It's on you.
No. I was just gonna say, look, I'm not perfect, clearly, but anybody who loves me, hates me, look, bro, if you're out there and you can hear the sound of my voice and you're watching Ryan's crappy ass channel, okay, I am just like you. I am
Just drunker.
Yeah. I'm an average guy that took the knowledge that Rolla put out there, that Donovan put out there, that Ryan put out there, that John put out there, that this fucking loser Aaron Clary put out there, and I applied it. I despite my perceptions, I am a minimalist. And I apply what Rolo says in regards to hypergamy.
Fuck, you're a minimalist. Oh my god.
I am.
You got a Rolex watch. You buy Louis Vuitton.
Just because you're poor doesn't mean I'm not a minimalist.
Get the fuck out of here.
Hey, listen.
Yeah, I'm a communist. Okay, all right. Yeah.
Aaron, you should read a book by Tom Wheelwright.
How to Piss Money Away on Watches? Yeah, it's a great book, man.
I love that book.
There's a practical reason behind that, Aaron.
It's called Tax-Free Wealth by Tom Wheelwright. Okay, all of those things are a write-off. Okay, all my
I am aware.
No, you're not.
Oh my! Yes, I am. I have a background in finance and accounting. I know. I'm aware.
All my brand name stuff, all of it is just a write-off. It's a write-off as wardrobe for YouTube. I talk about it often, okay? So the bottom line is, and I am a minimalist. I don't believe me, but I am a minimalist, okay? And the thing is this, what I tell guys, the bottom line is, love me or hate me, I'm just like you. I took the lessons from Ryan. I took the lessons from John. I took the lessons from Aaron. I took the lessons from Rolo. I took the lessons from Donovan Sharp. Sterling Cooper helped me with my premature ejaculation problems. Okay, I
do not want to believe that.
I don't have pride. I'm just like you guys, and I applied everything that these men on the panel have taught me. Okay, and then at the end of the day, if you don't like me, if you hate me, or whatever, but look, I'm the guy that took the knowledge that was provided to me on Rule Zero and applied it to my life. And I'm living the fucking dream. I'm living the dream. You can love me or hate me. My life is fantastic.
Glad you're answering the question Ryan put forth. That's just very precise.
Well, what is the question?
I'm just saying, how can you not like this guy? It's like, Jesus. He takes you away, he pulls you in. It's like, it's fucking riveting.
You know, so I'm out here. So it is what it is. I'm happy to be here. I love the community. I love you guys. You know, I'm always trying my best to help you guys out. And yeah, love me or hate me. I mean, I am the guy that applies red pill knowledge, and I've made several $1 million doing it. You know, so love me, hate me, but I made it happen.
John, I always love, like, when you go to the States, you get very angry, and then as soon as you get back home, you get extremely happy. And it's almost like I can tell your travel schedule just by how much smiling you're doing.
You're spot on. I fucking hate America. I think John Fitch is hand in hand with me in regards to how much I fucking hate America.
There are lots of wonderful things about America, but like California is wearing on my last nerve.
Yeah, I bet.
I'm looking to relocate to maybe San Diego, so that might help. But
hey, let me tag something on here real quick. Is like when we're talking about how like it's us versus them, and we get a little bit too preoccupied in that. I'm actually thinking about doing a show about this on my show tomorrow. But Matt Walsh, of all people, has decided that he wanted to do a documentary on what is a woman. And I don't know if you guys have seen that making the rounds lately. But of course, it's Daily Wire, and it's exactly what I would expect from this sort of sensationalism from Daily Wire. But I made this observation. Do you guys remember when I did the show about Matt Walsh being on Dr. Phil, and he was on there with the bearded lady, and he was like, I'm like, dude, you could have just completely owned this entire show if you would have just stuck to numbers, stuck to empirical data, just stuck to it. But he didn't. And it was frustrating to me when I watched this. And then I watched at least about half of the documentary on what is a woman, and I could only get through half of it because it's the same shit and the same skit comedy and the same thing, the same schlock over and over and over again. And people love it because for the same reason that they love Fresh and Fit, right? It triggers indignation in people who are like us versus them. Right. And as I was saying before, when I was talking about, how human beings have this innate need for magical thinking, they also have an innate drive for tribalism. My team versus your team, whether that's soccer or your football team or your army versus their army. It's us versus them. It's my ideology versus your ideology. My God can beat up your God, that kind of thing. It doesn't matter what it's tribal affiliation, but it's human tribalism that you are simply never going to get out of the human machine. Again, there's healthy ways to express that, and there are very destructive ways to express that. But as I said before, if there is no boogeyman, no one gets paid. So when you look at Matt Walsh go and preach to the choir essentially about like transgenderism and how we have this ambiguous sort of subjective understanding of what is a man, what is a woman, I can look at this with a red pill lens and I say, okay, the reason why you're full of shit, Matt Walsh, is because you're not looking at you're treating the symptoms rather than the disease itself. And the disease is that these people believe in blank slate equalism and they believe in social constructionism. Attack those things and you will win the argument. When we talk about abortion, when we talk about gender issues, stick to the numbers, stick to empiricism, stick to the, connecting the dots, and you will win the argument. You don't need God. You don't need religion. You don't need any of this morality stuff because those are emotional appeals. But that's the first place a guy like Matt Walsh goes to, or political ideologues go to, because that plays to the base, which pays the fucking bills. So if you go and you say, well, those people are insane. Look how this lady stormed off of my stage. It's exactly the same. These are the same people who will complain and give you so much shit about when Myron Frank Castle's one of these girls on the After Hours show, and they do exactly the same template on what is a woman. They bring in some lady on there, or some bearded lady, or some man who wants to pretend she's a lady, or you get some like school teacher in there and they can't answer the question. They storm off the set. Frank Castle, that's it. She couldn't handle the truth, so she bailed off the thing, right? We'll give Myron and Fresh, a ton of shit for that, but then we'll say, oh, that's great. This is great TV. What a great documentary, because it appeals to their particular tribal affiliation. So what you get in the end is you get the conservative side of things fighting with the progressive side of things, and they never talk about like the core base issues of what's going on there, because if they did, they wouldn't have a show. They would solve the issue and no one would get paid. So you have the emotional argument from the conservatives and you have the emotional argument from the liberals, and they smash together and they keep doing this. We've been doing this all throughout the 20th century. And now here we are in the 21st century. They're still doing the same thing because it pays the bills. They don't want to solve the problem. They want to stoke the symptoms until there's some sort of fighting, until we can make money off a documentary, until we can kick some girl off the show, until some girl decides, or some crazy feminist teacher decides to storm off the set. It's the same fucking thing.
It's no different than CNN and Fox News. All they do, like
exactly.
90% of it is just them. I can't believe they said that. Everything's an alert.
And it's churn marketing is what it is it draws you back into the churn. You don't want a solution. You don't want the cure for cancer. You don't want a resolution to any of this. You want the indignation and the good feels and the emotional high that comes from all that to keep going like a fucking junkie. That's what you want. That's why nothing gets solved. That's why you're never going to have any. We can solve these problems with just.
I don't think they want to. I don't think people want to solve it. I think they want to be mad. If they're mad, then it feels something. Think how boring it is. You know how everybody learns about Machiavellian this and Dark Triad that. Then they go to work and like, what Machiavellian shit can you do to like an email from Karen? There's no Machiavellian thing on there. They're just fucking sending shit out. They're just following procedure. And so people have this need, like, I just want to feel something. Do you remember this? There was an old Mad TV sketch. Do you guys remember Mad TV?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember Tickle Me Emo?
Yes.
It's one of the funniest sketches. It was Elmo, but he was like an emo god.
Tickle me emo.
Yeah, and his one line was, "I cut myself so I feel alive." And I almost think that's what everybody wants now. They don't want, like, nobody wants to solve things. Like you said, drag queen story hour. Do I want to kick drag queen? Do I want to go to a PTA meeting, kick the drag queens out? Do I want to walk in there and actually listen to one of these? Because if it's just some dude in a dress with a wig reading books, who gives a fuck, right? No. I want to sit here and performatively get mad because it feels good. It feels as good as I felt when I bought that Louis Vuitton purse for my wife, or those Louboutins. Do they make those for men? Do they make Louboutins for men?
If they really wanted to solve the problem, they would.
I'm asking you.
They would resolve it.
Yeah, but then when it's resolved, what happens then? Like, where's
no one gets paid?
It's not even the pay. I'm thinking from strictly the audience side. It's not that no one gets paid.
The problem with a lot of them is the feminine primary social order. They're both fighting from two different sides of pushing the same thing, and you're not like, hey, the actual problem is the. I
don't think they even give a shit about the problem, because Clary was just saying that too. Nobody's willing to take any steps to solve the problem. So do they really want it solved? Like, John, if somebody's punching you and you don't want them to punch you, you have a pretty obvious solution of not getting punched because you don't want it.
This thing though is, do they want? I'm sorry. Do they even know what the problem is? Have they identified what the problem is? Have they agreed upon what the problem is? I don't think so. Yeah, they're lazy and they're not going to do any work, but have they really peeled back the layers of like why? In my opinion, like a lot of these problems are because we have a feminine primary social order, and when you have a feminine primary social order, you're focused on emotionalism. How does this make me feel? Not how does this actually affect the world? Does this kill people? Does this make people happier? Is this better? That's not the answer. It's how do you feel? It's make you feel better. So that's the real problem. I think you got to peel back the layers to show that, hey, if we keep focusing on the feminine primary social order, I'm sorry, you're going to have the same problems. It's always emotionalism.
Yeah, as long as you feel. Fuck. Rollo, is there an article on this? I swear to God, you.
What? On
real emotionalism.
Social order? Yeah, lots of them. But I mean, I honestly, I think it comes down to tribalism, and I honestly, I don't think we don't want to solve problems, but it's almost like we can. It's like planned obsolescence, right? I mean, we can create a tire that never goes flat, but we can't sell tires if we make tires that never go flat, right?
Yeah. And if the audience can't bitch about their car's tires being flat, they'll always be late. Like, they'll never be able to have an excuse to be late for work. You know what? Taking your metaphor too far, I get it.
Well, exactly. But I mean, for instance, we can make a light bulb that never burns out, but do we? I mean, maybe we do, and then we make a lot of money off of it. But like,
there's that one in San Francisco, isn't there? And that's it.
Well, it's planned obsolescence. We don't want a cure for cancer because we need cancer to kill people. And as brutal as that sounds, as mercenary as that sounds, that's the basic facts. Is like, we have too many people on planet Earth, and so what can we do? Oh man, cancer! Fuck cancer on my bumper sticker. But you know what? The people who could, if they could cure cancer, I don't know if they can. Maybe they can. We just don't know about it, right? But they're not going to, because it's a horrible mercenary fact of life. Right.
Yeah. Well, and that's back to the limitable order. If you want to take it all I don't know where the B is in there, whatever. L order. He's selling this shit. He's not selling a cure to masculine malaise. He's selling a treatment that doesn't really do anything. It's only 7% effective for the first 6 weeks, but after 2 doses, you're allowed to fly of masculinity. Definitely not referencing anything else. But you see what I mean? Yeah. But then he doesn't want to solve the problem because then nobody's in that order.
Here,
but the people there, they want to be mad about something, so they don't want to solve it either.
I'll give you a high-profile example of this. Thank you, Rugby, for these two, by the way.
Oh.
what is it? It's Elon Musk. Elon Musk has like ever since he took over Twitter, he's been on some crusade about like the USA birth rate has been below minimum sustainable levels for over 50 years or just about 50 years or some shit like that, right? He's been tweeting tweet after tweet about like how he's an exception to the rule because like
the accuracy tweet was pretty good.
Yeah, civilization is sterilized. Like he's concerned with fertility rates and all this other stuff on Twitter. Yet in the next, you keep scrolling down in your feed and you'll see some story about how Tesla has decided that they're going to give women abortion stipends to cross state lines to go get abortions in an abortion state should Roe v. Wade get thrown back, which probably will never happen. But if in the event that there's abortion states and there's non-abortion states, don't worry, female Tesla employees, we'll give you $4,000 to cross state lines, go get the kid flushed and come back, and then you can be back on the line in like less than a week, and we'll maintain your productivity. It's a completely a monetary decision as far as Amazon, Starbucks, Tesla, Morgan Stanley, all these other companies that are offering this. But what's hypocritical is then you've got Elon Musk on Twitter talking about, oh my gosh, we have a low fertility rate. Then why the fuck are you offering abortion stipends if you're so goddamn concerned about that? And it's like, and it's right there in your face. And what's funny to me is we live in an era right now, in the data age right now, where you can see this happen live in real time. And you can see the guy, you can see live, and unfortunately, you can see live in real time. You can see Jack Murphy, cucking himself and putting things up his ass. And at the same time, and then like two days earlier, he's talking about how, he and his crew meet up after Bible study. It's right there. And you know what? Even in spite of that, people don't care. They don't care. Elon Musk is my fucking hero. They don't care.
Like I said, it's this shared delusion.
Audience, Ryan, you've got to hate your audience.
Gotta hate it. Oh, dude, you're getting me all riled up now. I'm gonna start cussing again like a goddamn sailor. Yeah, it's like lemmings. One goes off the cliff, y'all go off the cliff. I guess part of it too is like I can be a fuck up, but if everybody I'm following is a fuck up, there's that safety in numbers, the zebra herd camouflage shit. It's almost like I need everybody to be incompetent. Canada, we got that in politics right now. Everybody's talking about conspiracies and shit. Ours is like everybody's a fucking incompetent. And it's funny, even our Senate. Imagine having your guys' Senate rant for an hour about how the president is like incompetent with examples. It's fucking crazy. But I think that's where we are now, where and I know I love the quote, like nobody's doing the work. Nobody's, like John said, nobody's identifying the work. Like Aaron said, nobody even has any curiosity to find out what the work means, but they just like the fact that I'm fucked up and I'm hypocritical and I'm all this shit, but that guy's more fucked up than me. So I'll buy his hype because I'm covered. As long as he takes all the heat for shoving that dildo up his ass, then me just cheating on my wife with that hooker down the road doesn't make me feel so bad. And I wonder where we go from there. Like this is the last half hour. How do we solve this? Like, is there a solution to this?
No.
Is the solution is individual?
No. And good night, everybody. Yes. Yes.
Enjoy the decline.
Dude, that book has had a resurgence.
No shit.
Yeah.
No shit.
Like, yeah, it has, like a huge one. And I'm just like, what did you think was going to happen when you just said, well, if we tweak the money supply this way and do this, then maybe we all won't have to work. I thought I was pessimistic and misanthropic before. I'm just accurate. Here's the sad truth. Whether it's your group of people or the Democrats or white people or black people or the feminists or the man, most of y'all lazy, most of y'all don't want to work, and most of you will gladly give up any kind of control or agency and power you have to improve your life if someone comes in and serves it up to you on a platter, whether that's through religion, whether that's through an order or a group or masculinity with a gorilla on it, whether that's the Democrat Party and victimhood politics. Oh, you're oppressed because of that group of people. It's not because you had 20 kids out of wedlock and you majored in dumb crap. that's where oh, Jesus is going to say we just need to bring Jesus back in, and we just you be a fat piece of shit slob, so you got to lift your foop up, so maybe your husband can make more Christians with you, and assuming you're not so fat the kid's going to die, and because you're just a disgusting piece of shit. No, you just do it, and then Jesus will save you. The Lord has a plan, or what was it? Have faith in the plan with what's his name, QAnon.
Oh yeah,
Where's that guy now?
As long as you don't have to work, don't save up, don't get solar panels, don't get food, don't hit the gym, no. Just have faith in this thing, and give us the money and donations, and you're a good person. And dude, that's what I've seen across all people of all variations and categories. And when you learn that, and this is where Operation Evil once again comes in, where it's like, boy, I make some pretty good money telling people the truth, but I make a lot more if I could sell lies. And it's that's it. I think, not to toot our own little horns here, the fact we still tell people uncomfortable truths, there's a market. No doubt we've been financially successful doing that. But man, haven't we not caught flack? And it's a little bit demoralizing when you see people on your team not follow your advice and make miserable decisions anyway. But at least we could go to bed at night, and that's about all we can really do here. And that's what separates us from all these posers out there who are like, oh yeah, just eat a lot of meat and walk around in a loincloth. And so that's where I would say we're better than the other guys.
Lion diet.
Once again, authenticity.
Authenticity. I don't know what it is. It's just I just know it from the acting term where like authentic means you play the part perfectly, but it's still fake. That's why I love genuine. And I know this is such a weird semantic point, but I think genuine and sincerity, I think those are much more accurate terms, but they're not.
Right. There's your 187 IQ, kind of the technical note right there. But
no. Peterson's 142. I'm not nearly that smart. I'm 142 and 3/8, or isn't that what they do with height? When you're insecure about your height, you start talking about it like in 3/8 and shit.
1/4. Yeah, 1/8.
Start doing that with IQ.
Well, I mean,
no, I agree. You can't do anything about it. It's
the art
so
of
what
the
can you
grift.
do?
It's
It's art of the grift.
It's art of the grift.
They're not going anywhere because Rolo. I know you hate this, but like the El Presidente Florida man, how long has he been around being an absolute thorn in your side? 3 years now? 4 years?
He's been okay. So, gosh, I can't believe.
Actually, wait, before you start, just to give guys a little bit of humor here, this is who we're talking.
Boom, what's up, fam? Got some big news to share that unfortunately is not so good, so I'm gonna jump right into it. You're gonna watch this video and you're gonna cry. At least we can laugh at your eyes as you cry, like in the corner, like a little girl in the fetal position.
So in fairness, he was talking about you, but I made it sound like he was talking about me. So there, now that you guys know the background.
Yeah, it's fine. I think this might be, you want to know what I'm going to do tomorrow? This might be my actual show tomorrow.
Nice.
Do you remember Royce wrote this, maybe you, I've quoted it several times, but he wrote this really good article, and I don't think enough people really realize it, but it was called The Unbearable Triteness of Hating.
Yep, I remember the one.
And so he will go through all of these different varieties of hate that was thrown at him. And remember, these angles of hate that like haters would throw at Royce or me or Roosh at that time too, were always the same. They always. It was almost like what is it? Logical fallacies, the 10 commandments of logical fallacies and stuff like that. And it was interesting how he ran down this list of the varieties of hate. And you know what? Here we are in 2022. That was written like in 2009. In 2022, they're
12 years ago,
still relying on the same bullshit, right? And so like I can't believe here I am like 3 years later talking about this moron Anthony Johnson and his accomplice DDJ, also known as Bob Lewis, who have they've done nothing but live for tearing us down. tearing me down, tearing Donovan down, tearing anyone associated with me down. Anybody who has comes up
doing a
on this
bang up
show,
job so far.
makes no difference. Tearing down Fresh and Fit. That's all they live to do. If you don't believe me, go look at the last. Go rewind all the way back to 2019, 3 years ago, and look where it started and look where they are right now. They've done nothing except for exist to tear myself down, you down, Ryan, anyone that is associated with us. Makes no difference. And they will become scientists in the ways that they can try to find an angle to tear you down. And they have been doing this for a very long time. Right now, and guys, by the way, let me just explain to you really quickly here, because I told you guys this in the chat before. They're attacking the first book right now, because what they're doing is they're putting quality control issues that don't exist on my first book, because they don't want anyone to get my book. They don't want anyone to have the life-saving, life-changing influence that is the Rational Male and has been so for almost a decade right now. That's what they want. They want you dead, is what they want you. Anthony Johnson wants you dead. DDJ wants you dead. They want the noose around your neck, the gun in your mouth, because clearly they would not have the obsessive compulsive disorder that they have had for the last 3 years to prevent and become an obstacle and a hindrance for 3 fucking years. If they did not think that they don't offer you anything else, there's no replacement for it. There's nothing else that's built around it. It's just been proxies like the fat kid in Brazil. It's been commissioning. It's been paying off DDJ to do hit piece videos. It's been this shit.
It's the same grift that Matt Walsh has been doing against woke people.
Same fucking thing for 3 years. So when people say, well, Rolo's living he's living his best life. Yeah, I am. But you don't understand that I have to fight this shit every goddamn day. And you know what? As soon as something new comes up, like somebody in the chat was talking about, are you gonna talk about Steve the Dean Williams criticisms of you? No, because I don't subscribe to Dean the fucking Williams podcast, so I got no effing clue what you're talking about. But you're asking me like I should know this. I don't know this because I don't care to know this. I could give 2 shits about this, but then I got people that show up in the chat. Oh, are you gonna debate Alex from Playing with Fire about what? He's a proxy for Anthony Johnson. Are you going to talk about the fact?
Who was that other guy? The new guy. He did that. A blue check on Twitter.
Anthony Johnson. Everything comes back to one fucking source. That's why. That's what you want to know. What drives me fucking crazy? That fucking drives me crazy.
Yeah, well, the new guy, there was a blue check on Twitter, did the same thing. He's like, I brought it up 4 times. He's going to go on SOS cast with you. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Same thing. I brought it up 8 times for a debate, and you're like, I don't know who you are, but sure, whatever.
Well, what do you have a disagreement about? Oh, you're a cult leader. There's something wrong. You're not who you say you are. That's not a debate, dude.
But it's gonna just, I don't know, silver lining. What? Speaking of offering nothing of value, like what is that like being defined by someone else? To the part your life is obsessed with it. Like, couldn't you just like let them be and just like, okay, if you want to, like, there's people that will write a super long critique of whatever I say, whatever comment section, blog post, whatever. I'm like, okay, have fun. Like, I really couldn't care. Like, and so could you just ignore it? I know to a certain level you can when they take quality control issues on the books or all that, but just like, rejoice in the fact. I'll give you another example, and this kind of talks about it. There's a guy, Larry Gossett, I believe is his name. Not Lou Gossett, the actor, Larry Gossett.
Oh, he was good. I loved him in Iron Eagle.
Yeah, Lou Gossett, yeah. Anyway, so this guy, Larry Gossett, was a Seattle city councilman. And black guy, his entire life, he's like 76, 77 now. His entire life was defined by whitey and racism. This is the guy that when they were cleaning the streets of Seattle off with spray hoses because of all the feces, because all the people poop in the streets because Democrats are awesome. He's the one that filed the complaint saying this is going to traumatize older black people because it reminds them of the water cannons during the rioting, protesting days back in the 60s. And you got to think to get to that level. Like, here he is. He was a Black Panther in the past, and he's a Seattle councilman, or was, so he didn't do too bad financially, I'd imagine. He's successful politically. That guy wasted his entire life being obsessed, like Ahab's Moby Dick, right? Is that kind of the point of the story? Isn't that kind of the point of the story? Like, why ruin your life over a white whale? Why won't ruin your life? And so could we not enjoy that Ahab is wasted his life going after a whale? Like
I do. I make advertisements out of it. I think it's great.
Yeah, yeah. I'm kind of like, man, I got other things to do in my life.
Yeah, and I point that out at every opportunity that I can. If you go back 3 years, in that 3 years, I've produced 2 books. I've built my brand. I was thinking about this. It's like going, okay, so here we are in this 3-year anniversary since June of 2019. I'm like, what have I done, and what is this like? The Asperger's window licker done for the last 3 years himself, right? And I'm like, oh, all he has done is attack us. That's all he has done. Attack me, attack you guys, because you guys are associated with me apparently. And attack. In that time, I produced 2 books. I published 2 books. I've built my channel above 100,000 subs organically. I didn't buy a single friggin' sub. My Clips channel is what it is. Rule 0 is still kicking, and we kick ass way more than Redman Group ever did. So clearly there was a draw there. And you go look at the body of work, and you look at the achievements or the things that we've done with everyone in this panel right now alone, let alone myself. You look at what we've done and where we've progressed since that time, and you look at what he has done. It's like, I don't know. I know people say, oh, you're making such a big deal out of this. I'm not making a big deal out of this when someone is attacking my book that people have said, hey, I took the gun out of my mouth because of your book. In 2018, I did a State of the Manosphere address for the 21 convention. And during that speech, I said, how many people in this room have had their lives changed or benefited or whatever because of like one of my books? And everybody's just, standing ovation. It was awesome. Now, I wasn't trying to gloss myself or pat myself on the back. The point I was trying to make is that I was enumerating, like I did a SWOT analysis: strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And I think I was at the threats position in that particular speech. And I said, one of the things that really bugs me is that there could be some woke feminist at Amazon or whatever, or I think it was when Roosh was having his books taken down off of Amazon at that time. And I said, it kills me that all it would take is for some woke feminist to hit the backspace on her keyboard and delete my book that has this kind of effect in this room here, not to mention everybody outside of this room, and who it has helped and who it has saved and literally in some cases saved the lives of men, saved the lives of mothers' sons. And I can read you handwritten notes that say exactly this that I got as recently as last year, right? I can go and do that. And I said, that's what bugs me, is that the woke mob could very easily cancel what I'm doing right now. But you know what? It's not the woke mob. It's Anthony fucking Johnson. It's these guys who are within this whole thing,
who the murderers in the house,
using the same techniques, the same cancel culture methodologies that they rail against when it's outside, with tribalism, when it's outside of their niche. They will happily, readily use, and they will become creative in their ways of trying to find a way to cancel you because you have offended their bunghole, right? You have whatever it is, they just
literally
out. I've offended my bunghole. That's the mentality that I've been dealing with for the last 3 years. And so when I see Fresh and Fit's like Reddit channel just got put down, just got banned, I go, it's Anthony. And when we were out there, Aaron, when we were out there in February and they got the nudity strike, I go, it's Anthony. And you guys are like, and not you in particular, but the guy's like, that could be Anthony, blah, blah, blah. It was just somebody who hates on us. No, it turns out it was Anthony Johnson. The hate speech strikes that they got in March, Anthony Johnson. And YouTube verifies this. I saw the fucking receipts. That's what we're dealing with. It's not coming from the outside. It's coming from one fucking source. That's where it comes from. And there's nothing you can do about it. Nothing.
Here's the thing I love about that too, Rolo. You're right. Here, look at it this way too, guys. A lot of guys, everybody knows that one married guy whose wife fucking hates him, and she fights him all the time, and she nags him to death. The way Rolo just talked about the ADJ shit with him, That's what a lot of blue-pilled struggling guys have with their wife, that same dynamic. So look, yeah, you just content creators bitching about shit. Fine, go with that. Apply this to your life. Your mom is shitting on your dad all day. I bet you anything it's the same. Maybe she doesn't ban your dad's YouTube channel, but you know what I mean. Like, this is the human condition. And yeah, there's a meta in here. You see how Rolo deals with this shit. You know, Anthony's shitting on him, writes 2 books. Fuck it. So if you're the guy in that struggling marriage and your wife hates you and she's sabotaging your shit every chance she gets, she's looking like a harpy cunt, what's your 2 books? John knows what his 2 books are. Dude, coaching, fighting, looking that awesome fucking mountain man look.
In that time too.
Yeah, getting laid. Clary's writing 2 books. John's got 2. Like, there's something you can do. When shit's being handed to you like that, you don't just got to eat shit with a smile. There's a way around it. Be pissed. Dude, Rolo's, you're allowed to be pissed off that somebody's trying to besmirch your name and fuck up your professional work. That's a normal part of being human. But the red pill part is, what do you do about it?
Yeah.
And that's and I hate it, Rolo, because I love your rants. And I love John's rants, and I love Aaron's rants, and they all make so much sense. And everybody focuses on where you're getting mad and your hands are moving like the fucking tube man. But they're ignoring the part where you just said, yeah, and then I wrote 2 books and built this channel and did this. They missed that, what did you do about it? Because they're so focused on the outrage.
Yeah,
and that actually bothers me because
highs, yeah.
Because somebody will come to you literally after watching this and ask you, I'm in a situation where somebody's fucking me over too. What do they do? And you gave them the answer. Do you guys remember a year ago, somebody was like, you guys, we were just like fucking with each other. Like John was shitting on Clary and Clary shitting on John. Like, you guys should do an episode about male banter and getting along with guys. And we're like, the fuck have you been watching the last 2 hours?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm looking at this like Juan Alberto here. He says, there's something we can do. Ignore that 21 shade. No, you can't ignore that. You cannot ignore that. Because what happens is they will find a way to fuck with your bottom line. They don't care. That's all they fucking live for. You have to care about it. And you go, well, you know, just let everything go. They're just going to fall apart anyways. No, this has been ongoing for 3 years right now. And I was having this conversation with Myron not too long ago. And I said, look, it's going to get to the point where it's not going to be just hate speech strikes. It's not just going to be like, oh, you got suspended for a week. You got to go talk to the people at YouTube, whatever, and get your site back up, blah, blah, blah. That's an inconvenience. What's going to happen when they figure something out and they learn how to ransom your YouTube channel? When they say, you got to pay us X amount of dollars in crypto, and if you don't, we're going to have a mass banning of your show, and you're going to be suspended for a month. Give us this money now, pay the fee, pay the ransom, and then you can keep your channel. It's just like ransomware from a bigger company. If they haven't already figured shit out, they will find some way to ransom your show back to you. And you're not gonna take it seriously until you're losing $100,000 in a month because you've been suspended for that month. Then you will take that shit seriously.
2-factor authentication, fellas. You heard it here.
Yes.
I was just thinking of that. That's and ransomware. That's the other 2 things. Don't click the link on the email. 2-factor authentication. There's 90% of your problems.
There is no justice. This is the Wild West now. This is like, you remember, I compare it to this. Like, I'm sort of a trivia history buff when it comes to like alcohol, and you know, when I was working in wine and spirits, and during the Prohibition era, alcohol sales went through the roof. That was a golden years for alcohol sales because people were making bathtub gin, and they had, you know, gin joints, and they had like speakeasies and stuff like that because they didn't want the G-men to come and, you know, bust their place and all that. And what happened is that's when the mob came up and they started taking control over liquor distribution. Was right around like the late 20s and the early, right around Prohibition was the 30s, and you know, gangbusters, that kind of stuff. John Dillinger and that era, right? And so, but that was the golden years, but it was the Wild West. You couldn't go, if somebody was muscling in on your territory, you couldn't go and say, oh, I'm going to go to the police and tell them that you're selling bathtub gin because you're outselling my bathtub gin. You couldn't do something like that. And so you had the mob would come up and they started taking over the distribution and the speakeasies and everything else. And then of course they repealed Prohibition. But during that time, it was the Wild West, and there was no way you could go to the law. There was no way you could file a defamation or a slander or a libel suit against a guy who's making money the same way that you are, and you can't actually go and have any kind of sort of legal recourse. So what happens is you get frontier justice. And I'm just going to leave it at that. That's exactly what they do. You want to know why there was, Tommy guns and they went and did hits and gangs were fighting other gangs? That's why, because it was the Wild West during those times. And now here in the 21st century, it's the Wild West on YouTube and on engagement media and in the hustle economy, because no longer are you just attacking that person's, like, whatever this they're saying. You're not having some like civil debate anymore. What you're doing is you're attacking that person's livelihood by going and saying, by creating bullshit rumors that's, you are $50,000 guilty for wire fraud or some bullshit like that. It's bullshit. He can't prove anything like that. There is no fucking FBI report or anything like that. But here's the deal: is I still got to fucking see this as a thumbnail, and there's nothing I can do about it. I can't go to YouTube. Doesn't care about it. I can't go, sue him for slander or libel without because he's got no money to go after. He knows that. I know that, and they're just going to keep going and keep going and keep going. So what do you do? Tell me, because I need some ideas here. I have no earthly idea. You can
I already sent the ad,
but you can't just ignore it because they're going to attack and attack and attack. So opportunities.
Read the Way of Monkey book. If anyone needs that right now, no, I'm not joking, Rolo. Of all the people, you need to read the Way of Monkey book by Turd Flinging Monkey.
Okay.
Because this is painful to see you do this right now. So drop the $12 or whatever it is and read it. So I think it's an Audible book too.
Yeah, I see it right there. I'll put a link in the chat. What the hate? I actually might read this. To be fair, I probably got next to you probably the most favorable opinion of him. Like my only issue with the sex doll is it's Uncanny Valley, but I don't care about it.
I got nothing against the guy. I mean, other than the fact that he's married to a piece of plastic, but other than that,
silicone, not plastic. Get it straight. They're the biggest thing now. Don't you see that over Twitter? I'm with you though. Like, what can you do about it? To be honest,
what do you do? Tell me.
I think back. You remember pickup artists for the longest time? They're like, take an improv class. You learn how to improvise when you're talking and shit like that. And they're always lean into it. Like, never say no, but it's always yes and. That's been my solution. Yeah, okay. Tate wants to talk shit about me. Calls my wife a 4. Anthony calls me an asshole, and that fat fucking savvy chick called us terrorists or whatever the fuck she did. I'm like, I'll make some advertisements for the podcast with it. Fuck it. Like, what can you do?
Yeah, you lean into it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, I was thinking, because I think about it, sexual dynamics. Because the wife, when chicks talk shit about you as a shit test, if you take it seriously, that makes the shit test real, and then other people tend to believe it. Mm-hmm. When you used to just like laugh it off in a very clever, socially acute way, it would show that it's nothing to be taken seriously and less likely for people to believe it. I don't know if it's the right solution. I don't know if it works at a level that you're at, where people are making up FBI shit. I just know it's worked so far for me. Like this Tate drama shit, I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's funny as hell. But the thing is like there's nobody's life hangs in the balance of that bullshit.
No,
right?
That's the other thing too. Yeah, no life's in the balance. Now, in your case, granted, if somebody comes up, you're in Nevada, so I'm assuming it's an armed country or whatever, or armed state. I don't know the states too well, so.
Well, that's actually not what I mean. What I mean is like when I was doing the 2018 State of the Manosphere thing, and I was saying, how many people in here have benefited from what I've done. Like I was talking to guys at that convention.
I was there. I remember a lot of hands.
And hey, like I flew out here from wherever so I could shake your hand and say thank you for saving my life. I had an appointment with suicide and I canceled that appointment. Right. Well, imagine now that you've got a guy like DDJ and Anthony Johnson who find some way to get my book suspended or suppressed or banned entirely just simply because they have some hard on for me for whatever fucking reason. And now the guy
they want to fuck you. You know this, right?
And now the guy who would have read the book and like changed his mind about his date with death is now going to kill himself as a result. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about even the revenue stream. It's like, okay, whatever. But it's like the people who need to hear this information or read this stuff or whatever. Maybe, I'm like, we've got some God complex for all of this. But the fact of the matter is that's the downstream effect of this bullshit.
Oh, dude, imagine if Vox Day starts to give you the full Jordan Peterson treatment.
Am I overthinking this? Is this too much?
I am going to consult you off air because I have a solution for you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're way over.
One solution, but
well, okay, one that won't land you in jail.
Okay,
but that will be you can call me later.
Okay.
Once I get to Deadwood.
Well, here let's roll this up then, because John's got to go anyway. We're about at the 2-hour mark, so I would love to hear what you guys have been up to. I have been out of the loop because we're caught in Toronto in our little bubble. Johnny, Walk me through the life
Yep.
of Johnny right now and what's awesome.
I've been hard at work at putting together Strength Smash, my strength program that I developed myself back in like 2013 because I needed to find a effective way to lift and be strong as a martial artist, because you know you're not just lifting. That's not the only workout you're doing. So I've got like 2 or 3 other workouts in a day at the time. So I had to figure out a way to lift and not break myself down because traditional systems weren't doing it. I figured it out. I figured out a nice system, won world titles. And now that I've been retired for like a year and a half, I'm still using the same system. And I'm using that system to stay jacked in my old age. In my 40s, I'm still ripped. I still look good. The workouts are minimal. I work out more days, but I do less per day. It makes it a lot easier. I don't get sore. I don't get whatever injured, and I'm through my workouts in like 35 minutes. It's easy. Not easy. You got to work through the workouts, but it's simple. I think people overdo it a lot of times. Most of the programs out there are based off of people who want to be competitive, like bodybuilders or fitness models, or people who are power lifters. And I don't think that matches well for an average person or somebody who's into martial arts. So this is coming out soon, probably next week. And then eventually I'll have a package where I have all of my fitness stuff and a consultation thing packaged together. So stay tuned for that.
Nice. If I get a link to it before, I'll put it in the description. If you don't see here, just go to his goddamn channel. He's got all that shit there.
Go
And
to
it's well worth it.
sign up for the newsletter. There'll be announcements to the newsletter.
All right, Clary, you've been in your pajamas. You give no fucks, but you give a shit about your work. So I want to hear more.
Well, there hasn't been work because I'm on vacation, and so I'm hanging out with you guys because I want to. No, nothing new going on. The only thing I would say is my latest book, The Menu, is actually in hardcover. So it's like a real menu, and it's a big thing, like a menu. Life Without the Opposite Sex. That I guess is doing really well. And then the book before that was the Book of Numbers that Roll did the cover for. That is the better Bachelor edition. I know you guys absolutely hate and detest Joker. I'm kidding.
I'm ambivalent, man. He's good people.
I like Joker. I think he does good work. So you guys can pick up that one. That's a statistical analysis on your return on investment on the pursuit of women. I would say this is probably my most important book, and it is an absolute must for every individual man out there to read. If women wanted to figure out how to reverse engineer how to find a high quality man, they do very well to read this book, but I know that's not going to happen. And then because this is Ryan Stone's channel, and Ryan has a 8 billion IQ.
Fuck you.
Kurt, see that right there? That's Ryan. That little red dot, that's Ryan, and that's the rest of you assholes. Curse of the High IQ. This is one of my older books, but it's, I think, one of my more clever ones because it talks about having to live in a society where people are normal and you're abnormally intelligent. And it's not like a flex, like, oh, we're so intelligent. It's like, no, there are some drawbacks to being a statistical outlier when it comes to intelligence. And so this is a very germane book to all of Ryan's people. Otherwise, yeah, I'm just going to ride motorcycles and smoke cigars. And when my back gets better, I'm going to assemble my shuffleboard, Western shuffleboard thing I bought. So I got that. If you guys ever come visit,
I want to.
It's on the list. It's on the list.
Yeah. That's
all right.
That's all I got.
Okay, good. I'm going to go to Rollo, but just for the record, the only reason he's calling me smart because he knows I have a full fucking chapter in my book where I got so mad at the people telling me I was smart as a kid. It's the worst thing that they've ever said. And so when he's saying that, it's his way of telling me to go fuck myself.
That's not it. It's because if you listen to you and Carl, which everyone should go through your playlist, you guys are like up here with the satellites while everyone else is down here with camels. And you'll make this joke that I get, but I'm like, yeah, Ryan, like less than 1% of the population is going to get that.
It's funny. You guys, this audience is switched on. This is the 150 IQ chat.
Yeah.
But enough about them. I want to hear about this guy. Oh.
There you go. Oh, look. See, the cover is so nice. God,
audio.
This is so good.
Audio.
Audio. Give me the audio. You know what? Yeah, I tell you something, Aaron. When I watch and I do watch your live streams, I love it when you spurg out, like because you're.
Oh, the fake.
I want to
the
make
fake
a, like
one.
a
All right.
full on, like I'd set it to music or something, like some full like clip of each one of those, like where you're like those kinds of things, because that is like the entertainment is tantamount. Anyways, this is the Player's Handbook. It is now available on Audible and on, or not Audible, on print and Kindle. It will be available on Audible by the end of the month. I just talked to my reader Trey, and he's the guy who read Religion for me as well. And I thought his conversational tone is actually perfect for this book, so that's why I used him rather than Sam Bada. However, I have Sam reserved for the next project that I'm working on. But this is, by the way, this is the fifth and final book in the Rational Male series. Okay, I'm not stopping writing. No, he's not an author anymore. No, I'm still an author. This is the end of the series. All right. Anyways, Audible's coming up at the end of this month. I think he's actually done with the read. We're just doing all the audio file prep stuff right now, so it'll be coming out very, very soon. Meanwhile, I will be doing my show at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern tomorrow on my channel. I might cover Royce's what is it? Unbearable triteness of hate, but we'll see. I don't know. People really don't really care about that too much, but my show will be on tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. Then on bright and early on Monday morning, I get on a plane from Reno and I fly to Miami. I'll probably be doing Fresh and Fit on I think we're going to do Tuesday or Wednesday, but I'm actually going out there for a variety of reasons. The main reason, of course, is I'm going to be at the Rebel Capitalist conference, which, by the way, Aaron, you really need to go to. And if you would be in your own element.
I know, but next year I need recovery time.
I understand. So here's the thing. Here's your invite right now. January in Houston. That's going to be the next one. So
I'll be in Asia reconnoitering, but the year after that.
We'll get you there. I'll get you the collective or something like that when the next one comes up. So, but I think you would really be a good fit with George Gammon, Ken McElroy, Robert Kiyosaki, who, by the way, I just spoke with like at midnight two nights ago. So I will be out in Miami for the Rebel Capitalist. That is the 24th, 25th, and 26th of June, which is the next weekend, which, by the way, I will not be on this show while I'm there. And then on the 23rd, I will be on Adam Sosnick's show at Valuetainment. And I got some big news coming up. I kind of got to keep it under my hat because I know what will happen is if I announce it, then suddenly there'll be hit piece videos thrown out at me because they're like, oh, I can't let him win. But anyways, I will be on Adam Sosnick's show, which is his Thursday show. I'll be on with George Gammon from Rebel Capitalist, and I'll be on with Torsha as well. And we'll have, I think we got one other girl. So it'll be myself, George Gammon, Tori, and then some other girl. I'm not really sure. We'll be doing that on Thursday. And then Friday, of course, I will be doing a workshop at Rebel Capitalist. It will be at 5 p.m. It's for if you're going to Rebel Capitalists, I'm just asking donations once again. So it'll be like, $100, $99.97 to come in for a 2-hour workshop that I'm doing, very similar to what I did in Houston back in January. So that will be on Friday, the 24th at 5 p.m. at Rebel Capitalist. It will be at the Hilton Midtown in Miami. And I'll be going from 5 until 7 o'clock. And then immediately after that is the mixer, the opening ceremony mixer for Rebel Capitalist. And again, I will be down there. I know Paul Benjamin came down there with me, and I know Sterling Cooper's going to be with me. Justin Waller will be with me. Myron Fresh will, of course, be with me as well. Kiyosaki will be there. Gammon will be there. Ken McElroy will be there. I'm trying to think who else. Derek Thomas was telling me he was going to come out for that. Derek Thomas is my fitness guy in Miami, and his brother O'Neill, if you went to the CME, you know who I'm talking about, who also was just recently on Adam Sosnick show as well. And as I said before, I've got some big news about Valuetainment. If you see me wearing the hat or the shirt, there's a reason for that. So we'll be discussing that very soon as well. But I kind of got to get there and have my meetings and my discussions first before I can make any real. And it's kind of like you know when you're pregnant and you don't want to announce the pregnancy until you make sure that the pregnancy takes. That's where I'm at with all this. So that's me, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Well, I hope it's a boy.
I hope so.
Yeah, it was so too. All right, mine's quick. I'm going back on with. I always get his name wrong. I call it Paul anyway. The Let's Get It On podcast guy. You guys know I did it before. Come on, man. He's the guy from Twitter or from Twitch or TikTok and Twitter.
Yeah, Paul's
we're doing
a good guy,
something. Yeah. So we're doing another one Monday. Hopefully, I talk less about branding, more about Red Pill. And then Ali reached out, the Femme Sapien. You've seen her in the chat here. Everybody's been telling me about her, or this, that, and the other thing. So I'm going to go see for myself. We're going to have a chit chat, I think, on her channel. And I'm working behind the scenes to get, dude, old school Red Pill guy, Huey McGill. Nobody knows who he is, but I guarantee you half of the shit you know is probably is from him. If it's not from Rolo, he's probably one of the guys. So it's going to be pretty exciting. He's up there with like Whisper and all those background names you've never heard of. So we got some good things planned in the next little bit. Canada finally got rid of all of those vaccine travel mandates, which I'm like, awesome. But
get out.
Passport shit is all fucked up, and there's like an 8-month waiting period to renew your passport. So it looks like travel shit and vlogging and collabs. It's going to be a little longer, but bear with me, guys. Don't blame me. It's Justin Trudeau's fault. Yeah, I got nothing. So hey, enjoy yourselves. Have fun. Thank you for not shitting up the chat. Thank you for listening to us. I love you.